All right. Welcome, everybody, to The Conscious View. I'm Tamara. This is my co-star, co-sister, and co-creator of The Conscious View, all the way from Saudi Arabia, Ghana.
Hi world, it's a new episode and it's gonna be a juicy one. This is the
Yes.
best ever. We love it. I
Yeah,
hope you love it too.
absolutely. So today we're going to be talking about meditation and prayer as being one of the fundamental tools in your spiritual toolbox, because we are still looking into our series, The Spiritual Toolbox. And we are just really excited to share some more information about this. I think we're going to separate it into very definitive categories of meditation and prayer, just in case the time goes over, just in case I'm having mouth troubles. But forgive me, you guys. As we practice, we'll do better.
So this episode, I'm excited because the meditation is something that is sprouting now, and not only awakened people are loving it and practicing it, but also everyone is aware of the medical benefits of it, like longevity, de-stressing, and all of these things. And you can't talk about meditation without talking about prayer. I feel like they're connected. And so it's kind of like this doorway that is, it's like, you guys want to be healthy, yes? And they're like, yes. And then it's like an opening, a portal for them to also connect to the spiritual side of life and awaken even more.
Absolutely. And I think that a natural occurrence that happens when you do meditation is prayer. You start finding that, who you are is somebody like a spiritual person, you're a soul. And it's just a byproduct of meditation. So naturally you start talking to the universe. Because to me, meditation is listening to the universe and prayer is talking to it. And I find that they are so powerful, both of them in their own thing. And for me, they're very balanced out in my practice.
So what do you love about meditation the most, Tamara?
It took me a while to fall in love with meditation. Let's be honest. A lot of people have a hard time. I was somebody who was a type A personality, and people had always tried to suggest meditation on and off throughout my life, but it wasn't something I was like, oh, I could never stop my thoughts. And I had all these preconceived notions that you're supposed to silence your mind and sit still forever. And it was just really uncomfortable, the thought of it. And then I think it was RuPaul Charles who really, really started me on meditation. And, when I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy meditates and look at him, like or her, however, I guess it depends what character he's playing. But I really started looking into it. And so I just kind of experimented with some guided meditations. And once I started learning that it's not about silencing your mind, but it's about not attaching to any thoughts that come. So you're going to have thoughts that come, like we're human beings. It's just like, it's natural for us to have thoughts, but learning to just let it go, like just letting them pass. So it started off with guided meditations that I could do before bed, just in case, because when you start learning how to breathe properly, you kind of get a little bit more tired. So I found for me, myself, doing ones that allowed me to do the work if I fell asleep anyways, got me into the rhythm of learning how to breathe, learning how to let go of my thoughts and being really gentle with myself. Just because I couldn't focus today doesn't mean I needed to give up. And there was this one chakra meditation that I did, and it was the first time I actually got my third eye movie picture of what was going on with my chakras. And then it became like the coolest thing ever. And I became addicted to meditation. It's just, you could explore so much there. And some of the experiences that I've had in the astral realm, it's incredible. Like people don't get why I don't watch TV. And I'm like, okay, well, I could just, do a cool meditation and experience like a a past life thing, or witness something going on across the world, like, or, you know, do all this soul searching and all these beautiful things that you see in meditation, it becomes an incredible,
Experience.
what's that?
Experience. I was just trying to
Um,
finish it.
it becomes something that just really consumes a lot of your time when you start to really like get deep into it. Like, it becomes like, there's times where I'm just like, I just want to meditate. I just need to reset and do me, because it's like charging yourself up if you were a phone. Like, our phones are busy all the day. We have to like plug them in. If I don't meditate periodically throughout the day, I don't have the energy to do what I need to do. Yeah.
True.
So
And
what is your favorite thing about meditation?
I would say that's what I love about it. I love the
Mm,
power that it gives. It's so interesting how it's something that it seems like it feels to you like you're giving your powers away and you're giving everything away. You're disconnecting from reality, if you would, and you're just
mhm.
like, going within. But it charges you up, just like you said. It charges you up, it balances you, and it kind of like makes you able to take in the world, like step outside then after the meditation and take in the world. So that's what I love the most, that it's actually what I've seen through meditation is that it helps me integrate with the world in a much more healthier way and empowered way.
Yeah.
And I understand myself better, I understand the world better.
Mm.
Um, a lot of things, like I have times to just like, it's interesting that it's we don't the power of comprehension is not only intellectual from our mind. We understand ourselves and the world through all of our senses, and when we are in meditation, we're able to use the other faculties, like our physical sensations, our chakras,
Mhm.
um, our like internal, all of the internal stuff, and
Yeah.
it's all part of us. So it's like you get closer to yourself, and somehow when you do closer to yourself, you become so much more compassionate and loving to others, because somehow you just, I don't know, that's the magic of meditation. That somehow everyone has their own, as you said, like you just find this specific guided meditation or specific way of doing it, and
Mhm.
it becomes the way that you practice, and then through that, like a whole, like this, a whole dimension, you find it within yourself, and you're like, okay, this dimension is kind of like a bridge. That's a mantra that I use a lot in my meditation. I'm a bridge. I'm a bridge. I'm not, like, I feel like us as humans, maybe,
Yeah.
don't take my word for it. That's just my experience. But it's like us as humans, like that's what we are. We are like a bridge between two worlds.
Absolutely. I want to go back to what you were saying about how it really teaches you how to get to know yourself better. I think that's when I truly started to learn who I was. In all cultures around the world, we are told who we're supposed to be. I don't think that that is synonymous to Western culture or Eastern culture. It is just synonymous of being human. And I think that through meditation is when I really started to figure out who I was, getting in touch with my inner child. Like, using meditation as a tool is such a good way to get to know who you are, know yourself on different levels, but get in touch with your inner child. It allows you space to fix your vessel. Like, we have this vessel, like we have this biological machine that our soul uses to navigate through this world. And through meditation is where you can fine tune your machine. Like, I always, this is one way I tell my son is like, we need to take care of the vessel if we want to get through this. And I want to have a huge, long, happy life. And I want to do it very healthily. And to be able to go inward and work on your organs, work on yourself at a cellular level,
Yeah,
reprogramming, cleansing. And it's so powerful. It's got so many different levels and variabilities in its effects, because there's so many different kinds of meditations. Like, you can find meditations for anything and utilize that. It's probably one of the coolest tools to use and funnest. I find it so fun. I love meditations. They're such a an interactive way of
Yeah,
healing, like, and it's not boring. Like, I don't find it boring anyways. Like, the inner world it's
that's right. Yeah.
incredible.
I guess if you're doing it right, it's not boring at all. It's an exercise. Like really, it's a practice and exercise that you
Yeah.
keep shutting the thoughts, such as not like aggressively shutting them. Sometimes you want to do it aggressively and shut them. Sometimes I would just like really talk to my mind, and I would be like, mind, stop, stop, stop. Enough.
Well, and I
And,
think once you practice enough, that
yeah,
happens less and less. Like,
yeah,
in the beginning, it's not so simple. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's incredibly difficult, and you'll get frustrated, but don't give up, because once you get into it, like now, when I do like a guided meditation, even if I get interrupted, I've got a child or, whatever, I can get back into it now so easily because I've
mm,
learned how my body does that. Like, it's become a very smooth running operation. It's not hard anymore. And I can jump in and out and like get really deep very instantly once I've connected with the energy. That's actually something I'd like to ask you. Have you personally experienced when you get into the flow, like when you get into that state? Sylvie and I have noticed that you kind of connect with these waves of energy through your meridian lines, right? But they wave. And I feel like I end up swaying with
a
the
lot of
energy, like a daisy in the wind, like a flower. And like, it's the most incredible feeling. And if I didn't do that, I think I'd get sick. Because like once you start feeling that energy, it's interesting. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, and I think I saw Teal Swan talk about it, that it made put me at ease when I saw her talk about that. Um, because I don't I'm rarely like still I could meditate while I'm doing yoga, and it would be like a really interesting experience while I'm moving.
Mm.
Um, it's so much more
Active
easy.
meditation.
Yeah, I would find that place. I would find that thoughtless, the zero thought place when while I'm moving my body in yoga. And actually, that's what the yoga asanas are actually meant to release the physical blocks for you to have a deeper meditation practice.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and that's something we should mention to the viewers is there is such stuff as active meditation. Sports can be
yeah,
meditative. It doesn't always have to be sitting still. People go for walks in nature, super meditative. Putting your feet in the sand, earthing, that's meditative. Coloring your art, your passion, those are meditative tools. Like, you probably don't even realize that you already meditate. You just don't call it that.
yeah, it's just like you don't people don't label it as that, but it's a state of flow. Just like you said, it's like when you're in this wave vibration. You could feel it in your heart. You could just sit still and feel it in your heart. And then the whole stillness thing is a whole, also like a whole category of meditation, like sitting still. And some people like would have the poses, like you take a deep breath, and then you count till three, or you count to five, and then you hold while you're counting to five, and then you exhale while you're counting to five, and then you expand that between the inhalations and exhalations. You expand that pose, and the actual stillness, like they do embody that.
Mhm.
And that's a whole practice on its own. And there's the breathing meditation with the pranayama is also like you link it with when you are busy focusing on breathing at the way that they mind is focused on that, and it's not focused on the thoughts. And that's how you can stop yourself from being in the mind, and you vibrate with with that beautiful harmony of the meditation state.
That is
So yeah.
something I'm still working on, is learning to breathe properly. Meditations where I have to like really work on breathing. That is something that I realized at the beginning of my spiritual journey, is like a lot of my anxiety and my reactiveness was just the fact that I didn't breathe properly. I just
Yeah.
forgot how to breathe, which is something you think that most people, like, you just know how to breathe. But I think that it's a very common occurrence in like the society around me. I think that causes a lot of people anxiety is that they just don't breathe properly. I'm still working on it. I still have moments where I am out of breath, or I have to like remind myself, oh, breathe. Take a breath, Tamara. Yes. So that is a benefit behind meditation, is really learning how to breathe, because it's important. It's just like water, right? When we forget how to drink water, we become accustomed to like not needing it, but doesn't mean it's healthy.
It doesn't mean it's healthy, definitely. And I want to about the process, the elements of meditation, how I learned it, because I wanted to learn how to do guided meditation while, and so there's like these 4 elements of meditation that you need. And also I think also hypnosis, but don't take my word for it, I'm not a hypnotherapist. But I know that I'm good with meditation. So first entering the meditation, like just deciding now I'm gonna meditate, having the intention, or if you're walking in nature or anything, just consciously knowing that, you know, I'm in this I'm gonna like do this now. Like you're mindful about it, you're mindful about whatever you're doing. And so not necessarily sitting down for meditation, even if you're like, you're gonna, as you said, like you're gonna go for a walk and you say to yourself that I'm gonna be present right now in this walk. I'm just like, notice every step that I take, notice the sounds around me. That's the practice of mindfulness. And so everything you do, when you bring mindfulness to it, when you bring your presence, your full presence in that here and now, that becomes a meditation on its own. But when it comes to the classic sitting down and meditating, first of all, you have the intention, and you say like, that's it, I'm going to go ahead and sit down. So that's the first thing. And you enter into meditation. And then the second is that the vehicle that will take you into the meditative state. So this is important. You're not going to just be meditation, and when you're, especially when you're starting, like, don't be hard on yourself, like, why am I not meditating, it's just because you need to probably just know that how am I going to reach that meditation state. So this is a whole world on its own. You can do it through breathing, you can do it through a mantra, you can do it through hearing a guided meditation, like being guided, you know, like just hitting the play button and like just like giving your full attention to the teacher that's speaking, the guide who is speaking through the steps, and just listening. While you're listening to that, it's kind of like a vehicle that's taking you into the meditation state. And then the third step is the actual meditation state, and it's not always going to happen. If you practice it every day, if you're especially when you're starting, you practice, and you have to surrender the fact that you can't make that happen. You can't make it happen. It could be frustrating. Like, you will know with time. You will know if you did have that zero thought meditation state, where you totally surrender and totally lost control, and you just literally, you're vibrating with the flow or not. You can't fake that, you know?
No. And sometimes even after you get into the practice for some time, you have days where you can't get into the flow. Like, I have days where I'm like, well, this just isn't working today. And that's okay.
And then and that's the practice. That's where the spiritual practice comes in. You just remind yourself, all I needed to do is just set the intention and do whatever, you know, take the vehicle, whatever vehicle I'm taking, and surrender. If I'm not meant to take a glimpse, and the actual 0 point where you're like one with like the true yoga, the true like unity with your mind, heart, soul, and body, and consciousness all united as one. That's when the flow happens. You can't hold it for too long. If you hold it for too long, then you get out of your body and you can die. Like, that's how you consciously die, I guess. That's how you consciously get out of your body. You just like vibrate with it and decide to not ever come back. So something the most important fourth step also is to come back. You say, that's it, I'm going to end this practice, and now I'm going to come back and vibrate with, you know, the dimension that I'm in physically. So you come back, ground your body back, or else, you know, I do this mistake where I just lose myself in the astral, Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
partly here and I'm partly there, and I'm not like fully grounded in my body. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
last step. You just end by saying thank you to the universe or the guides or whatever, or
Yeah.
like if it's a guided meditation, that would be the end of it and end it.
That's a
So
really good little outline for if you were going to do your own meditation.
mhm.
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way. I think I just
I love
intuitively learned that by
it is, yeah.
participating in guided meditations, So,
Yeah, it is very natural. I mean, these are just like these tips are something that I learned from Silva method, and I
yeah,
really wanted to, yeah, share them because it helped me.
yes.
I know a lot of people who will hear us, they are inspired to also be, teachers and guides. And
Hmm.
so this is a nice like recipe if you want to create your own guided meditation.
Yeah, that is a perfect little recipe. You should include it down below in the little description box because that is super helpful. And I know if you guys are like me, you'll be like, what was that again? Or you can always just rewind it as well. So, yeah. Do you say that you probably participate more in guided meditations, active meditations? Do you just find making mindfulness as a daily practice like a constant state of meditation? Because
Oh,
being mindful in your life is
mm.
almost being in a meditative state of being at all times for me.
Ooh.
And like that's kind of goals. I sometimes I get in my head, my ego's going crazy. I'm thinking about I gotta run here, I gotta do this, that, and whatever, and I'm not mindful. And I think
Mm.
when I'm at the most stable in my energetic signature, when I'm happiest, when I'm most content, is when I'm in that state of really being mindful of everything that I'm doing. And I think I've made huge improvements, but I have moments where I'm like, oh, I'm lost in my head and not being mindful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most simple question that you can ask yourself constantly, like a mantra that you can always ask yourself whenever you're doing anything. You're like, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where am I? Am I fully present here in my body? And then it takes you like it's a whole mindfulness can be a whole episode on its own because
Yes.
I can, yeah, I can
Yes.
talk
Well, and I think that
about
that is mindfulness again is one of those fundamental pillars of a spiritual journey and just life being like I think our society being so busy and like everybody's caught up in the rat race and it's go 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 go, nobody knows how to just be in the moment. Like even people in the spiritual community, we have to like give ourselves permission to have a rest because we're like we got to go, we got to be creating, we got to be doing this, we got to be doing that, we got to keep go 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 go. And is that really mindfulness? Like we get caught up as well, and it's something that it's as a spiritual practice you
yeah,
develop and it gets easier, but having a good state of mindfulness can make life so much easier. Nothing
it is.
bothers you because you're just
I
in the
think
moment.
yeah, and even if things bothered you, it's momentarily. It's like, yeah, okay, this sucks. And then you just, yeah, okay, yes, this is the world. This is the
Yeah.
I know this is the 3D reality, and things are like happening, and they're probably never gonna stop. This is the eternal cycle of life and evolution.
Yeah.
And you can, and I love that the saying in the Buddhist saying that it says, before enlightenment, you chop wood, you carry water, and after
Mm.
enlightenment, you chop wood, you carry water. Nothing's
Yeah.
gonna change. You're
No.
just in the world is the same. You know that you can't change the world that much,
No,
but
you can change yours.
you are like the way that you see it. You're that before enlightenment, you're chopping wood and carrying water while cursing and like everything is like uh, terrible. But after enlightenment, you're carrying it while you're carrying like you're also like spreading the light and you're smiling at people while on the way and you're singing while you're chopping. It's like it's still the things are still the same, but your perspective is
Has
whole different
changed.
story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's mindfulness, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and we'll get into mindfulness more in another episode, I think for sure. Um, yeah, I think that sums up meditation quite well.
Well, yeah. Should we jump for a prayer?
Yeah. Absolutely, because they kind of go hand in hand, and often sometimes when I'm setting my intention for a meditation, I open with a prayer. Um, Especially if I'm trying to utilize the energetic signature of a deity or somebody that I've been called to work with, a guide. I will open up my meditation with a prayer to them, setting the intention, inviting them to join me, inviting them into my heart space so that we can communicate. And then I will go into the deep meditation to receive answers or guidance, I guess. It's never answers. No, no, no. He'll give you guidance to find the answers, though. It's never a straight answer. They speak in
Yeah,
riddles.
they speak. That's how you know. That's one of the signs you know it's coming from the mystical, the mystical realm.
Yes, that is a good sign. But I'm finding that I used to have this for a few years when I was kind of going through my rebel against religion. I was really against the thought of prayer. But just like that was a juvenile thought. And it was like at a juvenile point in my life where I was just like, oh, this is pointless. And people only do it when they really desperately need something. It's
Yeah.
not usually a devotional thing. So I found it very phony. But the more that I understand LOA, like law of attraction, reality transurfing, and vibration, and the power of energetic intention, I love prayer. I'm probably praying all the time. I'm always giving gratitude, praising something, honoring the life around me, because that's where I think that's kind of the key that maybe some people are missing in their manifestations is maybe I'm titling it or labeling it as prayer, but when you're honoring your life and you're honoring the divine for whatever you have going on in your life, like, I mean, some people would probably be like, wow, like you don't have a lot. I have everything and I am grateful for my life. And that's why abundance comes in. And that's why like I'm able to manifest things, is because I'm completely content with what is right now.
Yeah.
And it's a huge part is the prayer and the honor that I'm constantly giving to everything around me through prayer.
Yeah, I love that you said that. You know, my favorite prayer is thank you. Thank you itself is a prayer. When you say
Mm-hmm.
thank you to someone, and I feel like that's something I contemplate a lot, which is actually contemplation is another type of meditation. It could be another episode, but it's when I come
Contemplation, mindfulness. There you go.
yeah
We'll put them together.
when I say thank you and I'm in this meditation state, I'm mindful about saying thank you. I'm feeling that vibration. I'm feeling that space within myself that says like that feels like I want to acknowledge, I want to say thank you, and that space is like that place inside of me where that says thank you and that acknowledges. That's a place where the ego shatters. You know, it's like it disappears, like instantly disappears when you acknowledge something else and someone else that it's not you. And I feel like the basic thing about spirituality, if we would all agree we are on a spiritual journey, it's because we believe that in something higher, that the higher power, whatever you want to call it, source, God, whatever it is. It's just like we believe that there's something bigger than us. There's a divine plan. There's an energy that is larger than our physical bodies and this lifetime. Like it's beyond even time and space.
Mm-hmm.
So if it comes, like prayer has a lot to do with faith. It has a lot to do with like your faith, how that you what you decided, like what have you come to decide that the world is and life is. And there's something inside of us, which is our soul, that knows, even if you deny it, even if someone is an atheist or whatever. I think even if everyone denies it, there is the soul aspect of us that is just naturally connected to, which is the life force, you know, because
Well,
it is you. It's not separate from what you are. It's you. Like
yes.
God is you. You know what I mean? Spirit is you yourself that is animating you.
Yeah, and I think that like even prayer can be explained, okay, from a scientific perspective. You can go with the LOA. You're putting the intention into something, you're showing the gratitude. It's an energetic signature that you're creating to
Yeah.
manifest an outcome, right?
Mhm.
From like a magical perspective, you're putting that intention, you're spelling something. So it can be
Yeah.
integrated in so many different ways. Like we don't have to just label it prayer. People don't have to label it prayer, but it is really powerful. And when you start to understand that it's basically all the same language, it's all the same language, just
Mhm.
describing it in different ways so that it can be seen from all its different fractal points. Um, the
Mhm.
power of prayer, especially group prayer and meditation,
Oh.
like I'm starting to truly get prayer change and chains and stuff like that. And for me, that solidified more on my spiritual journey through my practice of magic and realizing how powerful group intention is. Because you know, when you're praying on your own, it's very powerful. You're a powerful, powerful being, but imagine a bunch of powerful, powerful beings directing all their attention on
Mhm.
one thing and all that energy. I get that now. And I actually truly now admire, I can look back at all these people who are very, very consistent with their devotional prayers. And no matter what religion it was, like I admire that now. I admire the power that they were putting into that. And I kind of, you know, have to forgive myself for maybe not understanding it at that time, and maybe even like being like, oh, that's just, it doesn't even work, it's just prayer, you know, like that's kind of a a stigma that has been attached to prayer through Western culture. It really has, and it's very sad because there is so much power for that. Like when you even witness, a friend of mine was showing me on Snapchat this Tibetan Buddhist gathering where like hundreds of thousands of them light these candles, and like the feeling in my heart, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now, and just thinking like if we all could do that together, the things we
Mhm.
could do. And I know some people like would sneer their nose and say, oh, it's just prayer. But we're powerful, energetic beings. Like we're powerful manifestors. If we want to, I think
Yeah.
that we could change the world. You know, that's what we're doing.
We are, yes. And you reminded me of Maharishi. Like, you guys go ahead and read the book Maharishi Effect, and he's one of the first, and I don't know if he's the first, but earlier in the days, like he came to USA, I think, and he started a movement, and he put like these monks in certain places to meditate, and he really showed the world like, and he was like, we don't care if people agree or don't agree. We're
Mm,
gonna change the world. We're gonna pray for them, even if they don't want to. We're gonna pray for them. We're gonna give them the blessings, and we're not gonna wait for everyone's approval, but that we want a better world. We're just gonna do it, you know.
yeah.
And it's, yeah, that devotion is so important. Like people forget, like especially when we are in the love and light community, and we kind of like, we don't want to do anything aggressive, like we don't want to have active, we don't want to be active, we don't want to really change things, like we want to accept things, of course, as they are and everything. But there's definitely, when we do a prayer, like actively do a prayer, maybe meditation is more like accepting and seeing things as they are, and then the prayer is like you're actively, you're doing that, as you said, like it changes you and changes the world when you are like
Yeah.
devoting to a certain cause, or like devoting to a certain thing that you like. What are you praying about exactly?
Well,
Like I'm
and
praying
just
for.
like okay, bowing down may offend some people, but I'm going to say it. But bending the knee to a higher power, something bigger than you know, it's very humbling, and it
Hmm.
just allows me to be in a state of privilege, to realize how privileged I am for this life that I have. And I
Yeah.
think that that's where a lot of religions went awry, or where people took religions. I'm not going to say religions themselves, but kind of went wrong with prayer, is like they only really did it when they wanted something, you know, like they only pray for what they want, like, oh, God, give me this, I need this day, or can you do this or that, or whatever. But true prayer is when you're being devotional, and you're surrendering, and you're showing gratitude. I'm not saying that you can't ask for things, but usually when I'm praying, like say I want to pray for somebody's health, I'm not actually asking the universe to do it. I'm just telling the energy to do it. I'm just like, okay, so we're sending the healing vibes this way. We're going to focus on this. You know, like maybe I do it a little bit more lovely than that, but it's not like I'm asking for
Not
it
demanding,
to happen.
not demanding it aggressively.
Yeah, no. And I also realize the power of myself through prayer. I can direct the energy that way. You know, we're channels, we're the bridges of this divine energy. And the universe is freaking busy. Let's help them out. Like, why can't we direct our prayers towards helping others? We don't always have to ask God or whatever you want to call it to do it. Like, we can find that God within ourselves and direct that energy that way.
We can say that it's our higher self. And as you said, like, just communicate, communication, like, just it's the most intimate thing that you can have a relationship with your own higher version of who you are. And one of the things that I of course, like, one of the things that we can talk about, and it could be a whole episode, is the concept of God, and whole, that's a whole thing. But it's definitely, when we talk about prayer, we definitely talk about that, but we're just brushing on it quickly. But it really deserves its own, like, whole conversation on, because guys, that's like deep, and it's controversial, of course, and it's a custom. It's like it's something that every person has their own way. No one can tell you. No teacher, no guru, nothing can tell you what God is. You have to experience that for yourself. Experience what your higher power is. When you say thank you to, what's, like, is it the universe? What is it to you? Is it the universe? Is it being in another dimension? Is it, like, just find that truth for yourself, and that's something you can find actually through meditation.
Yes, meditation. Right? And that's the beautiful thing. Like, I love, like, just communicating with others. Like, I have this awesome army behind me, my spirit guides, and all these deities that I get called to work with and stuff. And through prayer is like how I talk with them. Through meditation is how I receive information from them. So they are definitely two sides of the same coin. I think a lot of people can get health benefits from meditation without prayer. Like, there's the scientific community, like there's the neurogenesis that has been proven to rejuvenate your brain. Like today, that satanama that we were doing just before we went on, it's a chanting thing. We'll get into chanting in another thing, because we think that one's kind of a little bit different. It's more of a frequency treatment than meditation and prayer. Yeah. So, but we were doing a satanama, and they have done all sorts of research that doing this one can prevent and help treat Alzheimer's and dementia, because there's like this connection going on energetically with the brain and everything, and like the tapping of the fingers. So there's huge medical benefits, and like, you don't have to, but to really deepen, like, I suggest prayer. Same. And you probably do it. You just don't call it that anyways. Like when you're like going into meditation with a question, that's a prayer.
Yeah. And I love that that we can probably define prayer as communication with higher power, like talking to the higher power, as you said in the beginning. And that's when you pray, you talk to the higher power, and then when you meditate, it talks to you, back to you, it answers you, and it's beautiful. And I wanted to mention about the satanama, how we have in the Islamic culture also that you count, but you see every section of your finger. You know how your finger is sectioned with lines? So you would say, like, Alhamdulillah, 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 like that. Press like this on you press like the tip of your thumb on each and every, like, section of these fingers. So you can you count 31 of each, 33 of each. That's like a magic number too. It's kind of like a spell too.
Right.
but you say it like Alhamdulillah. It's like thank you God, thank you God, thank you God. You
Oh,
say
I
it
like.
like for 33 times, and then if you did that 3 times, like if you repeat the 33 3 times, it becomes 91, and then if you 99, and then if you said it one more time, it becomes 100 times, and that's why you can count
Um,
the mantras and the prayers. And then
oh,
after you do
cool.
that, like I think what it's supposed to do, like after we do that, we sit in silence, and then you just receive the energy, and
Yeah.
it's so beyond this world, you guys. I want everyone to experience that.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, sometimes I just want to share with everybody. Um, got like a coffee. I was doing this while we were.
Yeah, we have some reading today. Oh,
Yeah. So this is.
I feel like it's kind of like a yin and yang. What do you see?
I don't know. I was kind of seeing that saint. You know, like the saint that everyone thinks is the laughing Buddha, the big Buddha. It's actually
Yeah,
not a Buddha. He's a saint. But I
yeah.
kind of see him sitting here and then a little person kind of talking to him, which is totally in line with what we were talking about today. There's the
Oh,
person
I
praying to a deity.
But I also for some reason like the first thing that I saw was like an embryonic kind of like yin and yang, like the yin part of the yin, part of the yin and yang, and I could almost see like an aura around it that completed. It's so beautiful,
Ooh, yeah,
but it's like
fun,
handshake.
fun, fun,
So
fun. Awesome. So, do you have any closing comments? I think that we covered prayer and meditation really well. If you guys participate in prayer or meditation, what are your guys' favorite? Comment down below, DM us, find us on Instagram. We are always there. But yeah, do you have anything else you want anybody to know about prayer and meditation before we sign off?
I really wanna just ask everyone to ask any weird question about this topic, like anything that you feel like it's weird, it's like weird thing to ask. Don't feel
Yeah.
weird about it. Don't feel like afraid that you're like kind of like hurting the higher power, anything. If you ask about what God is, and like you don't be afraid to go there, like dare to ask questions that you probably feel like that's something that helped me. And I would love to encourage you to ask us also, like ask a question, because we wanna. I feel like there's a lot that help you with in this topic specifically. So go
Yeah.
ahead and ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we kind of have a free flow conversation between us, and we don't always cover everything. So if you were left with questions, we are open to receive them. We would love to hold space, and if we don't have the knowledge, we will look into it. That is something that we are willing to do because that helps us learn too, and we want us all to grow together and to be so super shiny bright. So thank you guys so much for joining us. If you resonate with what we're doing, please like, comment, share, subscribe. You can find Ogana on Instagram under Ogana, and you can find me under Shine Bright Earthling. And we hope that you guys have an incredible week. Thank you again for holding space and joining us. We know how precious your time is, and for you to take time out of your day to be with us and vibe with us, we truly honor that. So namaste. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ogana, as always, for being my amazing person to bounce ideas off of. I learn so much from you all the time, and it's just such a beautiful energy exchange that we have. So thank you.
And I love you too. I just love your presence. Just your presence. Thank you for
Likewise.
being here.
All right, guys,
Bye.
until next time, shine bright.